not to sue Mary Rubin, his friend. And although David Engel denies this, Pat Simpson testified that she did give him the 90-10 example. And how does she know she gave it to him? Not just because it's her general practice, because she looked at her notes from that day. And you have that in front of you. If I ask you now to turn to Exhibit 1, and in Exhibit 1 are her notes from her preliminary meeting with David Engels. And you see where she wrote, reviewed conflict issue, want joint representation. Pat Simpson testified today that this is the note she uses on every file of this nature. And she only writes this note if she is covered with the passenger two things. One, the right to sue the driver, and two, that not suing the driver could reduce the passenger's damages. And I think I'm at 7 minutes as well, so we'll stop there.
Thanks very much, everyone. I'm delighted that we were able to expose you to some terrific openings and closings. The first thing I want to do before I talk to our judge about any comments, I want to turn to our jurors. Any comments, any reactions, anything that you noticed, just in a word or two?
I thought it was helpful that both of the openings had themes to help you focus. Like it wasn't just, this is what we're going to talk about, but sort of set the stage and then you kind of absorb the information while thinking, Harriet Cooperman's a good lawyer, or Harriet Cooperman is negligent.
Any other reactions, comments that you noticed? Things that were helpful? Things that were unhelpful? Paul, any
yeah, just before I do, I know Pat, I just want to compliment what our opening, so I didn't always let.
Yeah, good.
I meant to mention this before, because tomorrow you're going to do your openings, and then people are going to be like, that was an argument, that was an argument. And you'll say, how do I know? And they'll say, I don't know, but I know it when I hear it. Because there's kind of a fine line, I think, and it's hard. So I think there was a great quote in Former Materials from Justice Sopinka's book, where he basically says, put the facts together in a way, marshal the facts, juxtapose them, use them, and let them argue for themselves. So cut out the adverbs and the descriptors and use the facts as well as you can and marshal them. And that's kind of what I tried to do. And I don't think you're going to get zapped for arguing.
I just have 3 general comments made by all the addresses, and then one thing about the openings, one thing about the closings. So first, you'll notice in terms of the opening of each of the openings and the closings, that none of them wasted any breath on trivial stuff. Right? No one started off saying, hello, my name is Pat Band, it's very nice to be here, thank you for coming, this is an important civic duty, who cares? Right? As I think you noted, every single one started, to the extent that you saw the opening part of whatever they were doing, with something important, the theory of their case. They grabbed your attention. No one cares about, what I say is not evidence. Second point I want to tell you about is, Pat's example, I think was pretty good, is after he got to the theory, he did say, and after he got out the first 2 sentences, my name's Pat Band, here's everyone. But Sean, having already been introduced, didn't waste any time. He didn't even bother, because you will not win the case if the jury remembers your name. Second general point, everyone had a comfortable pace, forkfuls of information. What I mean by that is it's enough that you could digest what they said by the time they gave you the next forkful. You weren't still having to chew it and swallow before they were talking to you, so it was easy to follow. And third, they all maintained eye contact with the jury, right? And some of them have pretty extensive notes, but they're good enough that they'll look down quickly, get their next spot, and maintain eye contact, because that's how you persuade, that's how you look sincere. One point about the opening, you'll note Pat told a story. He did not adopt a witness-by-witness approach. First, you'll hear from David Engels. David Engels will say this, 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 and this. He told it as a story, and it was very compelling. my perspective. But then he told you about who the players were and what their importance was. Sean started with the players because it's about Harriet Cooperman. And he started telling you about her background, and you kind of felt, you know, proud of her, sorry for her. And that's how he was grabbing your attention. In terms of the closing, you'll notice that unlike the opening, both Robin and Sandra used questions, right? Robin used a lot of rhetorical questions. Those are very important in closing argument. Now, in fairness to all of them, they're speeding through this, I think, because I'm pretty confident if Robin were doing this without the time limit, you would get a pause after the rhetorical question. Because the point of it is, you want the jury to think, huh, yeah. And there's only one answer to the rhetorical question you use in closing, and that's in favor of your client. And it's a very effective persuasive tool, because if the jury answers the question themselves, then they are persuaded as opposed to you forcing it to them. Sandra used another style of question. Rather than using headlines about what she's going to talk about, she framed them in the form of questions, right? What do we know about Harriet Cooperman? And then she gave you all the evidence that was important. What did that system consist of, right? That's another effective way to use questions. Those are ones that you actually answer with argument and evidence. So questions are for closing. That's sort of one trick, I suppose, to distinguish between argument and opening and non-argument and closing. And I'm just going to say this. You know, I've actually never performed this role as a judge. I've sometimes done that. But, wow, I got to tell you, you were treated to 4 fantastic examples of opening and closing. And I'm not easily impressed, but I was really impressed by my colleagues. So congratulations to them.
I've got nothing to add to those comments other than to say thanks so much for doing that, all of you, and thanks to ladies and gentlemen of the jury. It really helped to have you up here. You're not quite free to go yet. I've got a couple of announcements, but you folks are free to go. As are you. You're about to meet in your trial teams. Before you do, I want to give you a couple of housekeeping matters, information about trial information that we think a number of you are wondering about. Today you received your new color designation, and this is about the trials and about the next couple of days, okay? Today you received your new color designation and your final trial assignment. You are assigned to either a Saturday or a Sunday trial. If you don't know that yet, if you have not received that, please do not leave tonight without getting that information. Please note that an amended schedule, outline, and rules for the trial were included in the Sunday package that you received. So you now have all of the fully updated stuff. If you don't have those for some reason, we have more copies of those. Your color designation was included on the label of the front of that envelope that you received. And that also includes the schedules for both Thursday and Friday. So you should have everything for the next 4 days. You will be in a new color group over the next couple of days that will include your trial partner, but does not include your trial opponents. It's not a competition, it's not an exam, but for various reasons we've decided to split that up so that you're not, for any reason, feeling concerned about being with trial opponents. Your trial partners listed next to your own name. Your witnesses, the people who will be your witnesses, are those who are listed directly above or below your names. Okay, so that's how that's organized. If you're acting for the plaintiff, you will also be a plaintiff witness. So you're a witness on the same side, and vice versa for the defendant, to try and make life easier. As I said, after today, you're going to be meeting with your co-counsel and opposing counsel and obviously the witnesses to discuss your case. The idea is to be friendly, to play nice together, all right? We are lawyers, we are also human. This is supposed to be a learning exercise, not a screw your neighbor exercise. So try and work it out, be cooperative, help each other find where you are, and if you're struggling at all to find people or what have you, let us know. We do have 2 participants who are conducting trials on their own. Okay? So a couple things flow from that. If you are interested in gaining more experience, and in fact doing 2 trials as opposed to 1, if you were that person, and we encourage you to be that person, you would be welcome to join one of those 2 people and do 2 trials on the weekend. Of course, it's more work, it's more time, and you get more experience. So there's a big upside. If you want to do that, please identify yourself at the front table afterwards, and we'll take your name. Second to last point, if you have a Saturday trial, you will be staying in this room to meet your Saturday trial people. If you have a Sunday trial, you will be meeting next door to meet your Sunday trial people. Final point, I made this comment on Sunday, please try and bring jurors. You will know what I mean after the trial. It's way more fun if you have jurors than if you have empty seats. So try to bring jurors, as many as you can. Bring your whole family, your whole street, your whole law firm. Enlist your law students, whatever. But it's a good learning exercise, and it'll be way more fun for everyone. Before you leave, anything else? Okay, I'm not going to ask for questions because I'll probably screw it up. But if you do have questions, Natasha, Robin, and Jennifer are here, and please do ask one of us, me included, so that we can help you out. Okay, on to your trial meetings.
I am. How you doing? I know your brother well. Yeah, he's like, keep an eye out for him. I got the trial list. I'm like, we're planning on being gyms. So. I don't understand why we're flying.
Yeah, exactly. We have to meet our witnesses. Maybe we can agree on exhibits before.